Hello everyone, welcome to our channels, Israel Chat Bible and King Israel Seeds. I'm Craig, I'm joined by Adam. Today our topic is what is the 3 days of darkness. We obviously have a decent amount of notes today, but we're going to try to move through them as quickly as possible. And Adam, go ahead and take it away.
No, go ahead and talk while I look it up.
All right. So, again, we're talking about something that is familiar with people, the 3 days of darkness, 3 days in the grave. The Father obviously resurrected himself after being in the grave for 3 days. He says, we put Matthew 12:40 up here, for as Jonah was 3 days in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Israel, which we put parentheses wisdom.
Which is the word.
Be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the nations.
And it says heart of the earth, but even though you could say that, well, Emmanuel was in a cave for 3 days and 3 nights, which is true, but there's verses in the New Testament that Emmanuel is establishing himself being the truth, the light, and the way, right? And the bread. Hold on, folks.
No, don't stop.
Okay. And being the bread of, he says, the bread that Moses, during the time of Moses, the bread that they ate was not the true bread, right? And he's establishing that the true bread is knowledge. It's word that you hear. Is word that you believe in.
Yeah.
So right there, that's why we put the wisdom, because we're establishing not a physical body being put in the cave. That's not what Emmanuel's talking about when he's talking about himself. He's wanting people to know he who is the Father is knowledge, is the Word, right? Even in John chapter 1 verse 1 says the Word was with the Father, and the Word is the Father, and the Word was made flesh, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a couple verses down. It says the Word was made flesh. So who had the first wisdom, right? Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Adam had the wisdom. It says in other verses of the Bible, he comes in a volume of a book. That's not correct. He doesn't come in the volume of a book because it's the living Word. We established in John chapter 1, the Word needs a vessel. Even Emmanuel is explaining how he is the Word in the physical body. Right, brother?
Mm-hmm.
So, that is what Emmanuel is trying to say. If he who is knowledge is hidden, then where are you going to get it from? That's what he says, I must go so the Comforter comes. He wasn't talking about Pentecost. He was talking about a time far down the road, because Peter says one day in his time is 1,000 years in our time. So when Emmanuel is saying hidden for 3 days, he's talking about him as being knowledge, as being the Word, and the Word was in the prophets. He comes as a prophet, right? Do not think I've come to destroy the laws or the words of the prophets. I come to fulfill. Therefore, as he fulfilled, so should we, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fulfill the words of the foundation.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with Isaiah 52, 1 through 4. And it is Isaiah 52. You want to read it or you want me to read?
No, you read this one.
Awake, awake, put on your strength, O children of Israel. Put on your beautiful garment, which is not referring to garment. Again, it's referring to the wisdom, the word, okay? He doesn't care about your clothes because Emmanuel establishes, don't worry about the clothes on your back, right? Clothes are garments. O children of Israel, again, it says Jerusalem, but he's not talking about a city.
I think I might have put the wrong one down.
Okay.
Where's my blue piece of paper here?
Hold on, folks.
I did it. It's 59. Just
Well,
keep going.
I'll
We
continue
just
with this
start.
one. O children of Israel, the holy city, which is referring to the people, for henceforth there shall no more come into you the uncircumcised and the unclean. So he's talking about false knowledge. Okay? Shake yourself from the dust, arise and sit down, O children of Israel. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive, says daughter of Israel, daughter of Zion, which means children of Israel. For thus saith the King of Israel, ye have sold yourselves for nothing, and ye shall be redeemed without money. For thus saith the King of Israel, Father of Israel, my people went down after time into Egypt, sojourning there, and Assyrian oppressed them without cause. Now therefore, what have I here, saith the King of Israel, that my people are taken away for nothing? They that rule over them shall make them howl, which is to say cry, right? Saith the King of Israel, my name continually every day is blasphemed. So what name is he talking about? This is Isaiah. He's not talking about the name Yahweh. He's not talking about
the name of Israel.
Correct. That's the name of the holy blessing, the covenant. We went to this in other videos in the Genesis, thy name, and anyone who curses your name, Israel, shall be cursed. Anyone who blesses your name shall be blessed. That's the blessing Isaac gives to Israel. Genesis 32:28. Thy name shall be no more Jacob, but Israel. So we see the clarification here. So in the Bible right here, Isaiah 52, does it say Israel? No, it says, O daughter of Zion. Zion. What are you saying? Say children of Israel, because now you're blaspheming, you're hiding the name. Psalms 83 verse 4, they have said, come, let's cut them off from being a nation, who? The children of Israel, that the name of Israel is no more remembered. If you don't remember the name in which the prophets were part of, which is the name of Israel, then how are you going to understand the history? How are you going to understand the words that were passed down through that name?
Yeah.
Now we're going to go to Isaiah 59. 59 is 1 through 4. Where is it? Behold, the King of Israel's hand is not shortened that it cannot save. So we're talking about his mercy. Behold, the King of Israel's mercy is not shortened that he cannot. We're not trying to say save, because again, is his wrath that you're protected from. Is his, look at LA with the fire. Who did that? We have to say it was the Father, right?
Yes.
So what are you saved from? You're saved from his anger. You're not saved from a boogeyman. Look at LA. You're not saved from a devil, a boogeyman. You're saved from his wrath killing you.
Yes.
Neither his ear heavy that he cannot hear, but your works of going against the laws, commandments, and judgments have separated you and him, and your ways have hid his, again, it says face, but we want to establish, we're talking about the word, right, folks? So we're establishing hid his wisdom, says face, which another way of saying it is the Holy Spirit. From you, that he shall not hear your cries. Did he hear the cries of LA? So that he wouldn't do the fire? Did he hear their cries?
No.
No. And he's still burning the area. He hasn't stopped. Did he hear the cries when people were crying out during COVID? No. He still kept going. Did he hear the cries of all the violence that's happening in the world, all these wars? No, he's still going.
And maybe you are there in LA crying out. Maybe he's trying to get you to move, like he did a lot.
Correct. And the other thing too is he
destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yes, and he's making you open your minds to understand the truth, because if you're following the way of the church, these false pastors and prophets, then you're not going to understand the words under the name of Israel. You're not going to understand the commandments. You're not going to understand the laws. You're not going to understand the history. So he's making you repent. Do you want to continue in this way of destruction, or do you want to change your life so that I don't keep hurting you? Because there's something that's being taught that is killing us from these churches.
Mm-hmm.
For your hands are defiled with blood. How were their hands defiled? Because they killed the prophets, right? And there's still, churches still killing.
I want to go back to 2 real quick because we wanted to focus on just put a little parentheses around it in your mind that he hid his face. What does that mean? Because we've talked about that, but we're doing a new video where that has to do with this darkness, like being in the belly of the whale. Jonas was absent for 3 days.
Mhm.
Until they saw him again at Nineveh, or he came up on the shore, or whatever it was. They saw him again after this period of time, and that's what the Father's trying to tell you.
Correct.
By hiding his face.
And
talked over, I'm sorry I'm being talkative today. Go ahead.
No, it's good. For your hands, your works are defiled with hiding the wisdom, hiding the words of the prophets, hiding the laws, commandments, and judgments. And your fingers with iniquities, a run-on sentence. Your lips have spoken lies, again, a run-on sentence. Your tongue has murmured perversionist. Again, you have a run-on sentence. So what is it saying? You have spoken lies, your tongue has murmured perverseness. He's saying that you're doing something. If he's saying, I come to fulfill the law and the commandments and the words of the prophets, because did he do that? He spoke what Isaiah spoke. He said, no sign is given except the sign of Jonah. He repeated something. He spoke things. He didn't finish. He kept on reminding, bringing to slightly remembrance of the words of the prophets, but he spoke in a coded way. Okay? And we're going to get to that in Matthew here.
And that's another thing too, where their perverseness lies. That's the opposite of wisdom.
Yes.
So we're trying to tell you that that's what was happening in these 3 days.
None call for is not justice. None call to understand the laws, commandments, and judgments. No one's fully teaching what, like Leviticus 26, no one's teaching that if you uphold the 10 laws which are written on the 2 tablets, if you don't uphold the many commandments, such as saying the name Israel, which was a commandment, that name is no more Jacob but Israel, and you read in the Bible and you still say Jacob, you're going against that commandment, because he is established no more. Do you say Abram or you say Abraham? So give that commandment, uphold that.
Mm-hmm.
So people are not upholding the commandment. These churches are not upholding that. They're not telling you to judge your household. They're not telling you to judge your heart. They're not telling you to judge others. All they're saying is if you just believe and love that a son of Israel died for you, that you'll be fine. But you don't have to do any works. No, you have to do the works that were established by what the prophets told us. Do not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of the prophets. Did Emmanuel cut that off? Did he say you don't have to live by every word from the mouth of God, which was the prophets, right? Because his spirit was in the prophets, the Father's spirit, just as it was in Emmanuel. So, did he ever say you don't have to do that? No, he said live by that.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, the church isn't teaching that. They don't go into Old Testament too much.
Yeah.
Where am I? Nor any plead for truth. No one's really... There are some people out there who are pleading, wondering, something's wrong. What am I missing? Why am I not being told this full story? Why is the book of Enoch, Jasher, and Jubilees hidden? Why doesn't the church recognize these books? So people are pleading. But it says here, and nor any plead for the truth. So these people are pleading to who? To these false pastors. They're pleading for the knowledge. They're pleading for the truth. But these pastors are giving lies. Don't read the book of Enoch. Don't read the book of Jasher. Don't read the book of Jubilees. It's not canon. Well, you're speaking lies because those are words of prophets in there. So you're cutting off. And you're not saying the truth. Was there a devil, Satan, that did the fire in LA? No, because what happened? Videos are out there saying they mocked the Father. Well, if you're mocking the Father, who's coming down on you? The devil, Satan thing? No, it's the Father himself coming down on you in the form of spirit being fire. So you're not going to stop that. If he wants something to be burned, it's going to be burned. Repent.
And if there was a devil, which there isn't, he would love LA with all their evil and corruption. And
The porn industry and all the actors and actresses. Oh, thank you for the reward of
those are his people then, if that exists.
And it'll be, oh, thank you for the Oscar of me acting in a sinful manner and many people watching it and I'm earning money from being sinful. I mean, come on, people. You should know better than this already.
Mm-hmm.
They trust in vanity and speak lies. Another word for that is they trust in falsehood and speak lies. Enoch calls this out in the beginning.
Yeah.
He says that. And I think in chapter, what was it, 104 or 90 something, he says that they write many books and they speak in falsehood and lies. And Isaiah repeats the same thing, falsehood and lies. They conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity. How? By denying the words and the history under the name of Israel, and denying the commandments, and not teaching the truth.
Yeah.
Because you're to live by the commandments. You're to judge. People are not judging anymore. Who's calling out the gays in California? Who's saying that you're being sinful? You are killing yourself by doing iniquity. Who's calling them out? There are some people, but they're not doing it right. They're just saying, well, if you love Jesus, you'll change your ways. That's not what he's saying. If you love the way that the words of the prophets, that the prophets taught us, that Moses taught us to live, you're not going to want to tempt the Father to hurt you. You're not going to be thrown into temptation then. Because of your sinful desires. Fight against your sinful desires. Judge that inside you. They're not teaching the homosexual groups to fight against their desires. They're not teaching these false pastors to fight against their false desire of faith.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we're going to Ezekiel. Where is Ezekiel?
You gotta go forward.
Yeah, Ezekiel 39. You want to read this or me?
No, I know this is one that I did not want to read.
All right.
For sure. The other ones I will, but not this one.
23 to 29, 39. Okay, this is 40, I think 39. 23. Okay. And the Gentiles shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity because of the works against the laws, commandments, and judgments. Because they worked against, it says me. How do you work against the Father? Other than what Leviticus 26, Moses says, which is the laws, commandments, judgments. Moses says, if you follow the laws, commandments, judgments, he will have respect unto you. He will not hurt you. He will not do stuff to you. Look at how all the idols that are in this world, the idols that are in LA, right? For example, how many people probably had crosses on their houses and it didn't protect them?
Yeah.
So that's an idol. So again, what is it saying here is saying that the children of Israel were doing idols, believing in a false God in their head. They were working against the commandments and they forgot the words of the prophets and they forgot the history, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they worked against me, therefore I hid my wisdom, face again, right?
Mm-hmm.
From them and gave them into the hand of their enemies. So fell they all by the sword. Again, you have a group out there saying they're called the Hebrew Israelites. And they say, oh, we were the true children of Israel, and the true children of Israel are this color skin, and we were given into the hands of our enemies because of slavery. No, the Father is saying, throughout all the nations, anyone who works against the laws, commandments, and judgments are handed over to the Gentiles because he's done with you. He hid his knowledge. So what I'm saying is this group is saying they had knowledge all this whole time. They are the true children of Israel, they're saying, or what they call themselves Jews, which is blasphemous because you're hiding the name Israel then. So that's just one example. You can't say you had the knowledge and throughout all these time when the scriptures are clearly saying he hid it. He hid it. Because this is how false pastors and prophets rose. Because there was nothing to go against them.
Yeah.
Okay? So right there is telling you, don't listen to people like that who say because of this color skin is the rightful heir. We had the knowledge. It's saying that no one had it.
Yeah, yeah.
And the same thing, the Catholics, the Christian churches are all saying they had all this knowledge throughout this time. Again, what are they doing wrong too? What are they doing wrong? They're not explaining the truth. The Catholics have idols. Christians have idols. They're not teaching based off of the prophets. They're not teaching the truth. Where am I? I'm sorry, I'm trying to go kind of quick here, folks. Transgressed against me, therefore I hid my wisdom from them, gave them into the hand of their enemies. Fell they all by the sword, which is violence, fire, any kind of judgment. According to their uncleanliness, which is sinful ways, and according to their transgression, again, sinful ways, have I done unto them and hid my wisdom from them. So it's telling you, there's a certain point where they don't know the truth. We know Daniel, who's in Babylon, knew the truth. It wasn't hid in that period. We knew in the Persian Empire, there was prophets that had the truth. We knew that he did it hid at that time. So what time period is he hiding his truth? Is after the crucifixion, after the disciples are died off. That's when it's hidden.
25.
Therefore, thus saith the King of Israel, the Father of Israel, now I bring again the captivity of what I just said about the commandments. Why do you see Jacob there?
You should not see it.
No, you should not see it. The captivity of the children of Israel, and have mercy upon the whole house of Israel. But what kind of people are these? Are these the same children of Israel from the past? No. How does Emmanuel describe these children of Israel? They are born again.
Yes.
The born again children of Israel that he talks to Nicodemus about. So we have to establish that. And will be joyful for my holy name, not jealous, will be joyful for my holy name, because people remember the name of Israel. They will remember the history. They will remember the words of the prophets. They will understand why they had fire, why there was slavery in the world, why there was all these storms and hurricanes. There's thousands of ways the Father's been hurting us.
Yeah.
It's not just one way.
Children dying and all the rough things that
Correct.
we see in this world have been because
of our sinful ways against the truth.
And he punishes us for that.
Correct. Just as a parent would punish their child. Where am I? After that
26.
After that they have borne their shame, and all their works whereby they have worked against. Again, how do you work against the Father? By working against his word. And where did you hear his word from? Is it just from Emmanuel, which many call Jesus? And I don't like to say the name. What is it?
Yahushua or something?
Yeshua, because that's a derivative to Joshua, Yahshua. His name was not the same as Joshua, which is known as Yeshua. His name was Emmanuel. Okay? So say it right, his name was Emmanuel. So, whereby they have worked against the laws and commandments and judgments. Was Emmanuel the only one saying this stuff? No, he said, I was in the world and the world knew me not. So if he's saying that he is the Father because the Father's in him, as you see me, you see the Father, doesn't that also apply, folks, to Moses, to Isaiah, to Jeremiah, to Daniel?
Yeah.
Wasn't the Spirit of the Father in them, speaking out of them, unto the masses?
Yes.
So why are you pinpointing one person among the multitude? Come on.
Yeah, and that's where you, the error is with these false teachers is they're putting it all on one guy and then you're
Ignoring everyone else.
The base and living by every word and of the prophets and.
So what was Moses? Just a person? I mean, what was he? He was, I mean,
Yes,
that's
it's in the Bible, but yeah, if you say that he's just a person, then his words don't
have value.
They
They
don't
don't have weight.
value. I mean, some value because it's in your book, but yeah, the value of what it really should be is.
Who was in Moses?
Yeah, exactly.
When they lived safely in their land, and none made them afraid. When I have brought them again from the nations, not people, and gathered them from their enemies' lands. So did that happen yet? No.
No.
And am sanctified in them in the sight of the nations. We're talking about our time here, folks.
Yeah.
Our time, right now in this day and age.
As the promise he gave to Abraham, I will make you a nation above all nations.
Correct. So how did Emmanuel fulfill everything? He clearly didn't. So
Yeah.
those church, stop teaching that. He fulfilled everything. He didn't. Understand the truth. Then shall they know that I am the King of Israel, their father, which caused them to be led into captivity among the Gentiles. But I have gathered them into their own land, which is the land of Eden, the land given by Shem that Canaan took violently away. And have left none of them any more there, meaning in the nations. Neither will I hide my face, right there in my wisdom, my truth, any more from them. So clearly there's no way you can understand this except by the Father letting you understand it. Therefore, what was prophesied, folks? In John, a comforter must come. I must go so the comforter comes. That means you need a physical teacher to come to you to revive what? Is the resurrection about a fleshly body or about the wisdom? The word being revived in your mind and your heart. That's the resurrection. Stop teaching. It's about people coming back from the dead, from the ground, or coming back from being disappeared. Nowhere does this talk about a rapture. It doesn't anywhere here. So stop teaching this. It's about a revival of the word that's been polluted by the church. And I mean many churches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I have gathered them unto their own land, and have left none any of them there, neither will I hide my wisdom any more from them, for I have poured out my wisdom, my Holy Spirit, upon the born again house of Israel, saith the King of Israel, the Father of Israel. So when he says, I come for the lost sheep, he's talking about the born again.
Yes.
Okay, now we go to Matthew 5:17.
And yes, he is establishing himself coming back. But the verses that we've gone over in the past about he called the Comforter, the Spirit that I will reveal all truth. You doing okay? You got it?
Yeah, I'm looking over if you have it.
Okay, I'll read it then.
I'm here.
Think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass. Sorry.
It's okay. Until say unto you, and it says heaven and earth, but we know that he's talking about a generation. He's not talking about the sky or outer space. He's talking about a generation of people.
Mm-hmm.
So until the generation pass, till this generation, because what does he say about heaven and earth? He words this, not until this generation passes. There's a verse that says that.
He does say that in Matthew 24.
Can you go there real quick?
Okay. I don't know how long it's going to take me to find it, but I'm pretty sure I know kind of where it is. I would do better if it was in the book. I could see it. This generation shall not. Oh man, I might be wrong on where this is. It might be in Luke.
Well, you want to do a search?
Just, it's a common verse. If they want to look it up, they can look it up. This generation shall not pass. Oh, here it is, 34. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled.
Okay. So right there, truly I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Now let's see how that connects. That's in Matthew, right?
24.
So why do you change the wording here? And then where was I in Matthew 5:17? So say unto you, till this generation pass, one jot or one tittle, one word or one letter shall no wise pass from the, it's not just laws, from the words of the prophets, till all be fulfilled. So all be fulfilled. Again, where was that? Matthew, where were you? 24.
30.
Yeah, 34. Truly I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Right there. So he's saying that a generation of vipers, a generation of false teachers, a generation, this wicked generation is another one. This wicked generation seek a sign, no sign is given. So he's talking about a generation of people, not the sky, not the land. Now, what has changed? We know that the earth has changed. How? Because we went from the time period of Rome to what? Skyscrapers, right? To the kind of world that we live now is not the same.
Yeah.
So the earth has changed. The sky has changed. But what do you say shall not change? The generation. The generation shall become more sinful. So there's no truth that's stopping that sin from growing. That's what he's saying.
Okay.
Whosoever therefore shall break one of these commandments, therefore whosoever therefore shall not teach the words of the prophets, and shall teach others to do the same, they shall be called the least in the kingdom of Israel. So they're called false teachers, false witnesses, right? But whosoever shall do and teach the words of the prophets, man shall live by bread alone, but by every word, right? The same shall be called great in the kingdom of Israel. All right? For I say, where am I? Matthew 20. For I say unto you that except your wisdom and knowledge shall exceed the wisdom and knowledge of the false scribes and Pharisees. So in this day and age, until your wisdom and knowledge of the word of the Bible exceeds the knowledge and wisdom of these false pastors in these churches, right, folks? Ye shall in no way enter into the kingdom of Israel. So we're not saying the kingdom of Israel is in the Middle East right now. We're saying the kingdom of Israel is through those that have an understanding of the truth. Because remember, the people were asking Emmanuel, when does the kingdom come? He says the kingdom, why are you looking for the kingdom? there's going to be no sign or way that you're going to recognize the kingdom, because the kingdom is at hand. It's here. It's you.
Mm-hmm.
Until your wisdom becomes great, you will not recognize you are the part of the kingdom. John 3:1-8.
You want me to read this one or you?
Go ahead, if you're there.
There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. The same came to Emmanuel by night and said unto him, Rabbi, we know that you are a teacher come from the Father, for no man can do these miracles that thou doest, except the Father be with him.
Within
him. Emmanuel answered and said unto him, Very verily I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God.
So it said, except a Gentile be born again, what does it mean to be born again? To be born again, to become a new life, right? So that means you go from your sinful way, you pour out the old wine, which is a false way of knowledge and living, which is a Gentile way, that you're born again into a righteous way, a child of Israel, right?
Mm-hmm.
He cannot see the kingdom of Israel. Nicodemus said unto him, How can a child of Israel be born again when he is old? Can he enter into his mother's womb a second time and be born? Emmanuel said, Truly, truly, I say unto you, except a child of Israel be born of knowledge and of wisdom, it says water and spirit, but we know that as an understanding in the mind, right? Knowledge and wisdom. He's not talking about water. He's not talking about being plunged into the water in these churches. He's not saying that, oh, you have the spirit because you can speak tongues and this. No, it's talking about a wisdom. Yeah. It's talking about knowledge of the history, of the words of the prophets, of the blessings, the promises. All of that stuff is what he's saying. Until you pour out the old wine and accept the new wine, what is that new wine? It's knowledge. So this is what Emmanuel is saying to Nicodemus. It's knowledge. It's wisdom. It's the history. They cannot enter into the kingdom of Israel. That which is born of sinful mind, says flesh, but it means sinful mind, sinful ways. So denying of the laws, commandments, and judgments, the denying of the words of the prophets, are dead, are sinful, right? So if you deny the laws, commandments, and judgments, that says in Leviticus 26, you're dead to him. You're asleep, right?
Yeah.
And that which is born of the understanding and the wisdom that can handle that new wine, right? Handle the truth, is of the truth, is a child of Israel.
Yeah.
Okay? And then, marvel not that I said unto you, ye must be born again. The wind blows where the wind blows where it is commanded, and you hear the sound thereof, but you cannot tell where it comes and whither it goes. So is every one that is born of. So it's talking about, let's rephrase that to wisdom. And the wisdom where it is heard, and the wisdom, and you hear the wisdom, you hear knowledge, right? But cannot tell who is from, who is coming, where is this truth coming from?
Yeah.
And where is this truth going? You know, how far do I have to learn this? Mm-hmm. So is everyone that is born of that wisdom. And then Nicodemus answered and said unto him, How can these things be? Emmanuel answered and said unto him, Are you a master, a teacher of the children of Israel, and know not these things? So he says, do you not know the words of the prophets? Do you not know these things? So he's not talking about wind. He's using wind as a metaphor to the knowledge.
Yeah, because now we're back into knowledge. So that's definitely what he's talking about.
Truly I say unto you, we speak that we do know, and testify that we have seen. What do you testify you've seen? Oh, you've seen Moses doing what he did in Egypt. You testify of that. Oh, you recognize and testify what Elias did. Oh, you recognize and testify what Daniel did during the time of Nebuchadnezzar II. These are the things he's talking about. You must know the history correctly. And receive not our witness? Have I told you if I told you earthly things and you believe not, how shall you believe if I tell you the true thing? So he's saying, if I told you lies and ye believe not, how shall ye believe if I tell you of the truth? No man that has ascended up to the truth, but the same came down from the truth, even the Son of Israel, which is in the truth. Again, same thing as referring to John. The Word. This is all about wisdom. This is how you're supposed to understand this Bible here. He's not referring to a heavenly place. He's not referring to these things. He's referring to a knowledge, a teaching that's been passed down and passed down through the flesh, through hearing, through these stories. And you have to have faith because you're not there at that time. You have to have faith that these things happen. You have to have faith that these words were spoken, that this is truth.
Yes.
So Nicodemus did not have that faith, even though he was a teacher.
Okay.
Right? Because he's questioning this.
Yeah, his question is just kind of like, do I got to go back in my mom's womb? And he doesn't understand what again, the Father couldn't reveal himself completely here, so it is speaking in parable and metaphor right
Correct.
here. So even Emmanuel is still not giving the full truth.
He's still hiding.
Yes. All right, we're going on to Daniel now.
Daniel 7:25. And they shall speak great words against, says the Most High. Again, how do you speak great words against the Father? What is the Father? He's knowledge. So you're speaking great words against the words of the prophets, against the laws, commandments, and judgments, right? And shall wear out the children of Israel of the Father. So how do the false pastors, the church, wear out those that are seeking the truth? By telling them lies. Don't read the book of Enoch. Don't read Jubilees. Don't try to understand why you should change Jacob to Israel after Genesis 32:28. Don't understand that there's no devil because the Father controls all things, even though the church says and admits the Father controls everything. If the Father's controlling everything, how can you say there's something loose targeting things randomly? You're being a hypocrite. You're acting like the Pharisees.
Yes.
Because the Pharisees saw what Emmanuel did. They knew what the truth was. They asked Emmanuel, by what authority do you do these things? He said, well, I'll tell you if you tell me by what authority John the Baptist was able to speak what he spoke. And they said, well, we do not know, though even in their heart it says that they did know. They just didn't want to admit it. So the church, this day and age, is not admitting. I mean, come on, look at your Pope. He's saying all this blasphemous stuff.
Yeah, he's saying that all religions are the same and all that stuff.
So, come on, how much more churches have been trying to break away from some form of lie, but they're just led into another lie. So, you have to break away from this and stop going to these false teachers who are denying you the path of understanding the truth. Mm-hmm. You need to be willing to change certain words to understand how it's making sense within itself. Okay? Now some of you might say, oh, you're changing words. I'm not changing. I'm revealing. I'm explaining how you correctly understand this stuff. Because the way the church has been teaching it from this book is giving confusion.
Yeah.
So where am I?
25? Oh wait, you may be in the middle of 25.
Okay. Wear out those that seek after the words of the prophets and think to change times and laws and they have been given into, and so those that seek the truth shall be given into the false pastors, false prophets' hands, until in times and half of times, times and times the dividing of time. So that's your generation, your wicked generation, your generation of vipers. You have made my father's house a den of thieves. How? By not teaching the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
You polluted my words, Emmanuel said. So how is this happening? Well, there's a period of time that this is happening.
Yeah, and it's not exact, but that's where your 3 days is coming out of that phrase, times, and half of
Your
times.
days of darkness, correct.
Yes.
But judgment shall wait. Oh, it shall wait, and they shall take away whose dominion? They shall take away the truth, because the truth has dominion over the lies. So they shall take away the truth and consume and destroy the words unto the end. So this is what the church is doing. This is what the false pastors and the prophets are doing. Okay? In every denomination out there. That's when people ask us, what denomination are you, Craig? We would say the same thing. If you ask Moses or Abraham, what denomination are you? What would they say? I mean, Abraham understood, but if he was there during the time of Isaac giving that blessing to his grandson, and he was there when the father changed his name from Jacob to Israel, what would have Abraham said? I'm of the house of Israel.
I'm a child of the Father.
Correct.
Probably, and then it became, I understand it as, I am a
Child
son
of Israel. Because Moses was the one that also clarified Israel is his firstborn. That means anyone under this holy name is a child of the Father. So when you read in the Bible, child of God or children of God, you're understanding under the name of Israel. Because Israel is the firstborn. So would it be son of man in Matthew 12:40? No, it'd be son of Israel. Because this is his blessed son in whom he's well pleased, right? What kind of son? Under what name? Under the name of Yahweh? No. Under the name of Jehovah? No. Under what name? The name of Israel. Did he ever call himself a Jew? No, he would have said, I'm a son of Israel.
I just want to point out really quick in verse 25, the word saints being there. This is one thing that we keep pointing out. You would never have used that word. So it's such an obvious change. And you want to say that this Bible is the inherent word of God, and obviously that's not the case right there with the word saints.
Someone went in and changed it from children of Israel to saints. So I'm not changing. The Bible's already been changed. I am bringing back to remembrance what this should say.
Yes.
You're
on 27, I believe.
And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom unto the whole, it's not heaven, the whole nations. Again, who's testifying of the Father's works? The heaven, which is the sky or outer space? No, he's saying the nations, the unbelievers, the false pastors and the prophets are bearing witness to something that's happening in our soon future. Okay? Where is it? Whole nation shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. No, given to the born-again children of Israel. Wouldn't that be a fulfillment of Abraham? Oh my goodness, wouldn't that be a great fulfillment? It'd be a father of many nations under what name?
Yeah.
It wasn't the name of Abraham. Hold on, it wasn't the name of Abraham because Isaac says, let the blessings of Abraham be upon my son Israel. So Israel becomes the father, the holy name, a father among many nations. Therefore, what would it say on the cross? The King of Jews or the King of Israel? Here is even the Pharisees recognized it. They said, oh, if you're the King of Israel, come down off that cross. So under what holy name would be a father among many nations? The name of Israel. Not saints, Israel. Whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom? What kingdom? What name? what name? Was ever the kingdom of the Jews? Was ever the kingdom of Jehovah? Or the kingdom of Yahweh? No, it was always known as the kingdom of Israel. Look back in the Old Testament, further back, and it was always known as the kingdom of Israel.
Yep. Or the house of Israel.
Yes. And all dominions shall serve and obey. Oh my goodness, the king of Israel, whom the church deems the Antichrist. Would you believe it? Because they deny the name Israel by putting Christ there. So they're saying anti-Israel. We went over that before.
Yes.
So the church is saying, when this person comes that brings this holy name back, Israel, he's the enemy of our teachings because we're teaching lies and falsehood. It tells you right there. And then, chapter 12, 7. Okay. Sorry again, folks, for speaking quickly. We're trying to get through this. This is a lot of stuff. Okay, chapter 12, 7. I'm getting it wrong here. 12 and 7. All right, and I heard a man clothed in linen. So remember, we are understanding a history. We're understanding a truth here, folks. So I'm reading it the way it would be. Daniel heard a son of Israel, right, clothed in linen, having wisdom, which was upon the waters of the river, meaning the nations, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto the sky and swore by who? The Father of Israel, right?
Mm-hmm.
That lives forever, that he shall for a time, times and half the times, and when he shall have accomplished to scatter who? Who were scattered? Who had the dominion? Who had power? We clearly know because Emmanuel was a son of Israel. He had power and dominion, but he was what? If he's a king, which is a head, and what was a church? Then the church was the children of Israel. Who is scattered in this book? It's the children of Israel. So we have to plug that in there. Who was scattered? Because Daniel's in the past. He doesn't know what we know. He couldn't understand this whole scattering during the time of the Roman Empire. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He's in Babylon, and he's also living through Persian Empire. So we know that the scattering is it says holy people. So who went in there and changed that from children of Israel? Someone changed that.
Yeah.
So the scattering of the children of Israel and all these things shall be accomplished. What things? The days of darkness where the Father hides his face. Those things where false pastors and prophets rise. And then we go, where are we still? And I heard and understood not. Then said, O my king, what shall be the end of these things? Which shall be the end of what? Of all this suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And the Father said, Go your way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed until the time of it's not the end, the time of the Comforter. Because if anyone's read the Bible correctly, they would know in John it talks about the Comforter. Emmanuel said what? I must go so the Comforter comes. If I do not go, if I do not die, the Comforter will not come unto you. And the Comforter will be the one to bring all things back to remembrance. How can it be a spirit bringing back to remembrance if it doesn't have a fleshly body? You might as well say Emmanuel, the flesh of Emmanuel, it didn't even exist. It was some spirit walking around. We know that's not true because we know he had blood in him.
Yeah, and that's the same thing in John and Revelation where he says, do not write down the words of the seven thunders because they were speaking of the Comforter and it wasn't to be revealed yet.
Correct.
All right.
Now Revelation 12:10. 12. 11. Where am I going? Okay, 12:10. Okay, and I heard a loud voice saying amongst the children of Israel, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our Father, the kingdom of Israel of our Father, and the authority, the wisdom of his Son of Israel, or better yet, children of Israel.
Yeah.
Right? Israel is my firstborn. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down. So who's the accuser here? I just kept mentioning it over and over. For the false pastors and prophets are cast down, which caused the people who are trying to seek the truth, right, before our Father day and night. So it's talking about the church here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? For the born again children of Israel overcame the false pastors and prophets by the, not blood of the Lamb. Stop teaching is by the blood of the Lamb. Did he say you're saved by blood? Even though it tries to say this in New Testament, what are they saying? You're saved by what? The bread, which is what? The bread is word. Mm-hmm. So you're saved by the truth. You're saved by the wisdom. Did he say, man shall not live by bread alone, but by my blood? He doesn't say that. He says, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth. Mm-hmm. What did he say? They have Moses and the prophets. If they don't believe in Moses and the prophets, what does it matter if a ghost appears unto them?
Yeah.
It didn't matter that Emmanuel appeared unto them because they didn't understand the words of the prophets.
Yeah.
So, come on, guys. It's not rocket science. But you have to take that power from the church and see, okay, this doesn't make sense. What was the history that happened in our world? How did this play out? Okay, it played out like this, then like that, and then like this. So what is this Bible trying to teach me? Is teaching me history. Is teaching me what's the importance of knowledge. What's the greatest weapon? Is it a nuclear missile? Is it a tank? Is it bullets? No, it's knowledge. Mm-hmm. How much can false knowledge kill day after day after day? You go to war, so any soldier would know this, folks. You go to war, you kill someone, that's it. They're done. They can't go and pollute someone. They're done. But if you kill through word, that person could be what? Live through 10 or 20 years spreading that lie amongst thousands of people, and those thousands of people are dying.
Yes.
So you're watching people die every day because you're not judging. Stop saying God will judge when you are to know you and God are one. I had an argument with someone on my channel was saying, oh, the Trinity, this and that. Okay, I use the word Trinity as a way of using unity, because that's what the Trinity was supposed to be used as a unity, not as a three-head thing. It was supposed to be used as the Father, which is in mind, the Spirit, which is the wisdom, the Word, right? Because we know the Father is not one thing. He's everything. So we gotta stop thinking of the Father as an individual thing, right? Mm-hmm. He's not individual. He's not singular. He's like, you can't even explain it. It's like he's everywhere and nowhere, if that makes sense, right? So he's all things, all right? So he's not in some throne room in somewhere sitting on a throne. That's not, that we're making God then singular. We're making the Father singular. He's not singular. He's everything and everywhere, okay? So it's a mind. Think of you're in his mind, okay? This is all of his brain work. So that's the first part, the Father. Then you have the Spirit, right? We know Israel wrestled with the Spirit of the Father, whom gave him the name Israel. So we know Spirit is knowledge that comes in a form to speak unto us, but also comes into our body and speaks through us.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know the Father took on forms as people. Okay? And he's worked through every single person because he has authority over everything. It's not random that this world works the way it does. It's not random. It's not by us. We don't have free will to do whatever we want. Everything is controlled. It's in a controlled environment. Then you have the Son. What is that? We know it's not singular anymore. We know it's plural. So is the children under what name? Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So the Father, the Spirit, which is the wisdom, and his people, which is flesh. So the Father, which is a mind, the Spirit, which is the wisdom, and the flesh, which is the children of Israel who are born again. That is with the unity, or what is properly what the church has called Trinity, but they're not teaching it right.
Yeah.
Okay? Where was I now?
I think we were on 12,
Revelation.
10, you read 10, 11, because of the blood of the Lamb. Love not their lives unto the death. So I think you're at 12:12 now.
12, 10.
12:12.
On Revelation 12. Oh, I'm sorry, folks. I'm looking at this book and this looks confusing here. Okay, yeah. And accuser. So we know that the blood is wisdom, is knowledge. And by the words of their testimony. Whose testimony? Their testimony. Who is their testimony? Is it just the disciples? Brother?
No.
No. It's all those that died before them. Moses, his testimony. Joshua.
David, Joshua.
Isaiah.
Jeremiah. Joel.
And probably many others that we don't even know existed.
Yeah.
So all their testimony, the testimony of the children of Israel, the words of Adam's testimony, Noah's testimony, Enoch's testimony.
Yes.
All of their testimonies. By their testimony that, and they love not their lives unto what makes death, unto lies, false teachings.
Yeah.
They didn't love the words that were being spoken by false pastors, by the false churches.
Yes.
Therefore rejoice, ye born again children of Israel, ye that live in them. He's not talking about heavens. He's talking about a people. You see that, brother? He's talking about a people. Verse 12.
Yeah.
Rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that live in them. He's talking about the children of Israel that live in what? The nations.
Yes.
Wow. Woe to the inhabitants of the nations, earth and sea, which is really the nations. For the false pastors and prophets, because devil means what? Accuser or enemy.
Yes.
So how do you become an enemy of the Father? By denying the laws, commandments, and judgments. Don't judge. Don't speak about the history. Don't say the name Israel. False pastors or prophets have come down unto you having great wrath, because they know that they have but a short time to get people to not know the truth. Now again, how is the Father working through them? Because he has to test you. You have to prove to the Father you're what? A born again child of Israel. If there is no obstacle, how can you prove to him? How can you show you believe in the testimony, that you believe in some history if there's no obstacle? It's like working out. How can you work out your muscles if there's no pain in lifting and tearing up your muscles to let them heal?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So therefore there needs to be an obstacle in which we can say, hey, we recognize the darkness, the lies, because we have the light, the truth,
So the
in
great
us.
wrath is the Father using these false teachers to place you in this darkness and then keep you in that darkness.
Which another word is called the Great Tribulation. Wait a minute, you're telling me that we were supposed the church has lied to us that we would be raptured before the Great Tribulation? That's what they taught us, right, brother?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, what about during it? How far are we into this? Pretty far.
We've been in it for
Wait.
a long time.
What about during it? Oh, it's not coming? What? Wait a minute, close to the... What was the point close to the end? What's that point for? He says he'll gather his people because you recognize the truth. My sheep know my words. Wow. So a physical person must come to lead. Another savior like Moses, like Emmanuel, who did he save a few people? And then those people saved multitudes of people because they believed in a knowledge that was different from the Pharisees and from the Greeks' belief too.
Yeah, and we've been in tribulation now since this goes back even before Emmanuel and the disciples.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they weren't trying to find a way to go up into heaven, be raptured. I mean,
No.
they knew they were in tribulation. They knew they were probably going to die, and they probably all knew that. They all knew that was coming for them.
Yeah. And here, and when the false pastors and prophets saw that they were it says cast onto the earth, which means they had but a short time, they persecuted who? Anyone that was seeking the truth against their ways. Oh, how do they persecute you, brother? Don't read the book of Enoch. Persecution. Don't read the book of Jasher. Don't read Jubilees. Persecution. Don't worry about it, brother. Don't try to understand it.
Yeah.
You don't have the Spirit. Persecution.
Yeah, they do that.
Wow. So even though they're not killing us with stones and tying us to a stake to burn us, they're still persecuting us when we come with some truth to them and say, "Hey, what about this?" And they say, "Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You don't have an understanding. Don't read it. Read only what I teach you." But you're teaching lies, man. So why should I listen to you? I need to seek another teacher. That's what you should do, folks. Seek another teacher. Someone that understands the history, understands the promise and blessings, understands the name Israel, understands the words that came from the prophets who were children of Israel. What makes you a child of Israel? Is it by blood? No, because we don't have the blood of Adam. It's by accepting truth. That's what makes you... Because we're the Pharisees, children of Israel. Knowing what we know. Were they children of Israel? No, they were no different than Herod, who was a Greek.
Herod.
They were no different than... what's another one?
Any Gentile.
Yeah.
Pilate.
Pontius, yeah.
Pontius Pilate. Any of them.
Caesar, right?
Caesar. Okay.
So they were no different than Caesar. Because Caesar didn't know the truth. Neither did the Pharisees.
Yeah.
But worse than Caesar, they knew some truth and they refused to teach it. That's what made the Pharisees worse than Caesar.
Yeah.
That made the Pharisees worse than Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
You all say Hitler was pretty bad, but according to the Father, false teachers are worse than Hitler.
Yeah.
So understand your Bible. How does the Father see things? And see it through His understanding, not your own. Where am I now? And when the false pastors and prophets saw that they had but a short time on the nations, they persecuted those that seek the truth, which brought forth, says, a man-child, which we know, this is talking of, well, in this particular point, this is talking about Emmanuel. And but we're not trying to understand it from physical. We're trying to understand what was in the physical. It was the word. And when the wisdom were given, it says 2 wings and a great eagle, which is a reference to fleeing somewhere, moving fast. So
Yeah.
when the wisdom moved fast, that the wisdom might fly into the nations, because who had the wisdom in them? It was people. So when the children of Israel were scattered, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Into her place, meaning into the nations, right? The wilderness. That they might be nourished for times and half a times from the face of the serpent, which is the false pastors and prophets. How is the word nourished? Because there are those that reject the lies to some degree of the church, of false pastors. Because what is the church? What is it the church is? It is people.
Mm-hmm.
So the church that what we call they're supposed to know the truth is denying the truth. Joel, what's his name? Joel Osteen?
Yeah.
He's a big one that denies the truth.
Yes.
We all know, we all should understand that. Where do you hear him teaching this kind of stuff? You don't.
No, you don't.
So he's a big enemy. But remember, there's not one that's greater than another. All enemies are the same kind of enemy.
Yeah.
So was Hitler different than the false pastors of churches? No. Because they're both killing.
Yeah.
They're both denying truth, which is salvation. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But yeah, the false teachers are generational. Hitler killed just that group in that time.
correct.
With
And then he
false
died.
teachers, and then he dies, and then the false teachers, their false teaching just keeps going and going.
Passing on this falsehood.
Yeah.
And then, and where am I? 17. And the false pastors cast out of their mouth lies and falsehood, right? After those that seek the truth, that they might cause them to be carried away by what's carried away? What's not remembered, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Psalms 83 verse 4 says what? They have come, let's cut them off from being a nation. Who's cutting them off now? Now that we understand this, the Pharisees, false pastors, false prophets said, let us come to cut them off. Those that are seeking the truth, those are to be born again, the children of Israel, from being a nation, that the name of Israel is no more remembered. So if you can't remember the name is a holy name, a name tied to promise of blessings, then how much more you can understand the words of the prophets that came out of the mouth
Mm-hmm.
of fleshly people.
Yeah.
Where am I?
16? 12, 16?
Okay, swallowed and the nations helped. See, here's where it says, and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon, which establishes the false pastors and prophets, cast out of their mouth. So, sometimes you have to do that. Read a little further on to go back to the previous sentence. And the earth, so we know that we are talking about people.
Yeah.
And the nations helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth. So if the earth's nations helped the what? The word, and the nations opened up their mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the false pastors. So we know that the woman here is referred to polluted knowledge.
Yeah.
Because didn't the Pharisees open up their mouth and swallowed up people? Did not Paul, one of those people that were swallowed up in the beginning, was killing people, persecuting, until his eyes were open and he went against the dragon, which is the Pharisees in this part here.
Yeah.
So we have to understand this through a physical history, right, folks? Then it makes more sense. So the nations opened up their mouth and swallowed up the lies which the false pastors cast out of their mouth. So how did the nations help the woman? Because the nations, remember, the word is in some people in the nations, right?
Yeah.
So it's nourished through this time. So if they understood this truth, the full truth, don't you think they would have burned the Bible? They would have.
Yeah.
If they understood the full truth, they would have burned the Bible. And make a whole new Bible, which, they actually did. They didn't burn it, but they got rid of the original scriptures. And then they put this Bible together.
Yeah.
That, yes, Daniel is having a hard time because the Father's speaking in symbolism and metaphors. This is true. However, again, you have to know history. You have to understand, okay, how is this played in reality?
Yeah.
And if you can't come to that understanding, how is this played in reality? How is this supposed to make sense? Then you're just going to see, serpent, earth, woman, flood.
What this is leading into is, okay, we're swallowed up. They swallow up the word.
Yes.
But it's also kind of saying is, well, we helped you. We took you in. We gave you shelter. We gave you the truth. We gave you the word, and you're turning on us?
Correct.
Because that's what this is really saying. We it's like a false thing, because they think they have this word and they're going to be like
A savior type.
Yeah, resentful.
Yeah.
And because it says like it helped the woman, like it's like, hey, we're your friend.
Yeah.
And it's
So
not.
obviously the church has to have some level of truth, right?
Yeah.
But they also are having more lies than truth.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what this is applying. Remember, the woman here is referring to knowledge. So the nations are eating up some truth, right? And then and the earth opened up its mouth. So it helped the truth, because it helped hold the wisdom, pass it on, right?
Yeah.
And the nations opened up their mouth and swallowed up. So it says and two times, right?
Yeah.
Swallowed up. So they're doing one thing, but they're also doing something else too.
Yeah.
So they're swallowing up lies too. And the false pastors and prophets were angry with the truth. So that means, how are your pastors and prophets in your churches angry at you when you come before them, asking them questions, confronting them on something? Wouldn't they get angry at you? Why are you talking to me, asking me these questions? You just listen to me and don't ask me questions. You can't ask, a lot of times, a priest a question and make them doubt, not doubt, but make them seem like you're questioning their knowledge.
Yeah, you can't
They get
question
mad
the word.
and prideful and say, how dare you question me? You didn't go to school for this length. You weren't anointed by these pastors. How can you question me, my knowledge? I can, because I understand the history. I understand the truth. I'm coming to you to question you. Why are you telling me not to read the book of Enoch? You're telling me it's not part of the canon. I'm telling you that doesn't make sense with Jude.
Yeah.
So why are you telling me? I can question your authority now, because I have wisdom here. I have the words of the prophets. You clearly do not.
Yeah.
So
Which, hey, for everybody out there, that happened to me. And that's why I eventually found this guy, Adam. Because I was going, that same persecution was happening to me.
And the false pastors and prophets were angry with those that seek the truth, and went to make war with the remnant of what? What did it say is to be resurrected? What is the remnant? Is the word.
Mm-hmm.
Went to make war with the word, the truth, which kept the commandments of the Father. So as certain people that are understanding and questioning the authority of these false pastors and prophets, and they're going after them, telling them, excuse me, telling them, you don't know anything. And have the testimony of the Father of Israel. Because to say Jesus Christ is not correct, because we're talking about a vast history here.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to say the Father is called Jesus Christ, that doesn't make sense. Because couldn't you say the Father was called Moses? The Father was called Isaiah? The Father's in these people that have these names, speaking out of them.
Yeah.
So aren't they supposed to be one? If Emmanuel say, I and the Father are one, Therefore, if you see me, you see the Father. In what name was he called Emmanuel? Wouldn't that also apply
And Emmanuel
to
said, I come not to destroy, but to fill the words of the
live by
prophets."
every word that proceeds out of the
So
mouth
if you're
of God?
just saying it's just Emmanuel or Jesus Christ in this thing, you're going against his word where he is saying, I'm fulfilling all the words of the prophets.
Correct.
All right.
So if you see the Father in Emmanuel, which many, again, people call Jesus, then you should see him, you should recognize him in Moses and everyone else. In Joshua, I can't find Hosea.
It's after Daniel.
If you're there, go ahead.
Okay. Hosea 6:2. After 2 days will he, the Father, revive us. In the third day, the Father will raise us up, and we shall live in his sight.
So how will the Father revive you? Because someone must come to bring all things back to remembrance. So you need a teacher.
Yeah.
Emmanuel, they knew Emmanuel as a priest, as a rabbi. That means they knew Isaiah as a rabbi. Moses was a rabbi.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking for a rabbi to come to teach.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it?
No.
Okay.
I think I got a couple more verses here. Or one more anyway. And we shall live in his sight. Verse 3. Then shall we know if we follow on to know the Father. His going forth is prepared as the morning, and he shall come unto us. This is the one where you're going to want to fix it, because it says, as the rain, as a latter and the former rain upon the earth.
So did he come up? Remember, he came everyone shall live by bread, live by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. If Emmanuel is saying, isn't that written, ye are gods, because what is in you that is supposed to be guiding you is the Father himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whom is wisdom. So therefore, as the former rain and as the latter, we're not talking about weather, we're talking about the Old Testament, the former children of Israel, the prophets, and the, no, which one's the latter? Which one's the one before? Latter or former?
Latter's first and then former rain.
So latter would be the Old Testament, and then the former would be the time of the disciples. So he's saying that you should understand the words from this period of time and from this period of time. So all this knowledge rain onto you because you're listening from a person. What's raining on you is not the Spirit that's just coming and flowing on you. Because again, let me put it to you this way, folks. What rained on Peter? But when did it have to happen? He said, by who do you think I am? Who are people calling me? And what does Peter say? You are the Father. He's not saying you're the Son.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone recognizes he must be some kind of son, right? Because he's able to do all these things. But Peter's saying, you are the Father. The Father's in you.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's telling everyone, don't tell anyone who I am. Judas runs off later on, wanting to tell the Romans who he is. He is the Father. He is God. We should listen to him.
Yeah.
And what did Emmanuel say as a commandment? Don't tell anyone who I am until I'm gone.
Yeah.
Until I'm gone. That was a commandment. Judas broke it. He betrayed him in that way.
Yeah.
But how did the Spirit come on to Peter? Emmanuel had to say these questions. Then the Father worked through Peter after hearing these words and said, you are the Father. What did Emmanuel say? You could not have known this, but by the Father revealing this to you in your mind.
Yes.
So there's no free will. There's no way Peter could have known it at any given time. He had to hear those words first from Emmanuel before the Father said that. Then Emmanuel had to clarify to Peter, this is truth.
Mm-hmm.
See how that's working? It's not because something comes into you, oh, you instantly know it. No, something has to be said, and that same person that is saying something has to also confirm it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a teaching lesson being done in the physical reality.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that just proves that you can't be tricked by AI. Something saying it's the
Correct.
Father, because the Spirit won't be working through it.
Correct.
Unless He allows it to be.
Correct. Everything has to be done in the flesh. Because the Spirit is an image in which we crafted according to our likeness. Therefore, we know that the image or the machines can only be as smart as the Creator. So who created us? The Father. How smart are we then above the machines? Really smart. But that's only within the Father's will and how much He wants to limit that authority given unto individuals.
Yeah, and then if you're talking about the Spirit, not that a machine couldn't tell you something intelligent, but it won't be able to reveal to you the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
Correct.
It's just revealing to you maybe a fact of how something might work.
Because of the data it
that's
has.
not how wisdom, knowledge, and understanding works. You have
Correct.
It's like
It's given from the Father Himself into your mind.
Yeah.
And Mark 13:22, for the false pastors and prophets shall rise, and shall show signs and wonders, and seduce, if it were possible, even the born again children of Israel. But take heed, behold, I have foretold you all things. But in those days after the tribulation, after what point of tribulation? After the beginning of the tribulation. When did that start? Oh, that started after the death of Emmanuel. Because we're talking about a point where the wisdom is hidden.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, we know the wisdom was hidden also before He came onto the scene. But we know Daniel had it. We know Ezekiel had it during the Second Temple period, during the Persian Empire. We know that there were people that had it. Okay? So we know is after Solomon. We know is sometime before Emmanuel comes.
Yeah.
And then it's also after his death is the tribulation.
Mm-hmm.
And the wisdom shall be darkened, the truth. And the children of Israel shall not give their knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And the children of Israel shall fall, and their authority that are from the Father shall be shaken. So they won't know what is true. And then shall they see, says the Son of Israel. So we know that this is after the crucifixion. So what Son of Israel we talk about? Emmanuel or the Comforter? What time period? Correct. So the Son of Israel here is known as the Comforter, coming not in the clouds with great authority and glory, but among the born again children of Israel, because someone has to lead people based on resurrecting knowledge, and those people that hear the knowledge are going to have to give up land, job, brother, sister, family for my sake, for my truth, for my will, right, my life, and come unto me.
Yeah.
So we know there's a physical leader here that's supposed to come, and people are leaving their stuff to go on to Him.
Mm-hmm.
With great authority and glory. What's the glory? Oh, it's the knowledge.
Yeah.
Then shall He send His people, and shall gather together His people from the nations, from utmost parts of the earth, which is again nations, to the utmost parts of, again, it's saying from the east to the west, from the north to the south, from everywhere. And that was 27. Okay. And then we're going to go to Revelation 6. Revelation 6. So 6:10 to 13. Is that right? 6:10 to 13. 10. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O King of Israel, righteous and true, do you not judge and avenge our lives on them that lived on the nations? With white robes were given unto every one of them. White robes is establishing wisdom, right? Wisdom and salvation. And it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season, until their fellow brothers and sisters also that were, until their fellow brothers and sisters that should be killed as they were. Who are we talking about here? We're talking about the prophets. Remember, Emmanuel said, you killed the prophets, you wish to kill me. This is whom John is seeing.
This is the same as what Daniel saw. He saw a man clothed in linen. We have these in white robes.
Correct.
And he was saying how long or when does this come to an end? And then this is the same thing that John is seeing.
Correct.
Similar to what he's...
So again, what the Father is doing is he's sending a message through John about his plan work, his layout.
Yeah.
Should be fulfilled. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was great earthquake, and again the wisdom shall be black as sackcloth of hair. So death, right? Wisdom is gone, is hidden.
Yeah.
And the children of Israel as blood. They're dead. They're gone.
Yeah.
They're scattered. And the children of Israel fell unto the nations as a fig tree cast is untimely figs when it is shaken of a mighty wind. And the children of Israel departed as a scroll when it was rolled together, and every we know mountain and land has not been moved out of their place. So we know every children of Israel were moved out of their places, right? Because they were moved out of the land.
They were moved out of the land, scattered into all the nations.
And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every basically everyone, hid themselves in the dens and the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us and hide us from the face of the Comforter that works on the wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says sits on the throne, but again, this is all symbolic. So how are we understanding this, right? And from the wrath of the Father of Israel, for great day of his wrath is come, who shall be able to stand? Could anyone stand against the fires of LA?
No.
No. So how much more can the church stand against the truth? How much more can any sinful person stand against the truth when it starts to become stronger and stronger and stronger and builds?
Yeah.
They're going to say, hide us because we don't want to accept the truth. We'd rather die than to give up our sinful ways. That's what this is saying.
So that's also too the killing of fellow servants and all that, and these people are crying out, saying how long. Again, this is a period of time that we've been trying to establish of 3 days. Again, it's not exactly like a day, because a day is 1,000 years, as said by Peter, but you can understand now what we're talking about. So Hosea says 2 days have passed and I bring you up on the third day. So 2,000 years have passed.
Mm-hmm.
I raise you up on the third day. This is what it's talking about. It's not talking about a literal, there's no sun for 3 days, which has been taught in pretty much every one of these churches. It is a days of darkness are times and half at times. 3 days, a day is 1,000 years. So this is our history. This is where we've been for the last couple thousand years. We've been in darkness.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Emmanuel says the only sign you're given is the sign of Jonah, because that's where you're at. That's where you're at when I go.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have anything to
to pull you out except when I come back.
And let's explain that in Joel too. Joel chapter 2, verse 30.
Okay.
It says, "And I will show wonders in the sky and on the land, blood and fire and pillars of smoke." Wow, LA, right there, prophesized. Fire.
Uh-huh.
"And the wisdom shall be turned into lies," right? "And the children of Israel into death before the great and terrible day of the Comforter. The Lord comes."
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the last one is Matthew 12:40.
Which we started off with, so
Correct.
you want to wrap it up at
Yeah, I'm gonna read it still.
Okay.
12:40.
just read what we got up there.
Now I'm gonna read it too the way that this is too.
All right, sorry.
And then 12:40. "For Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the son of Israel," also meaning the children of Israel, right?
Yes.
Because whatever happens to one part of the body happens to the rest of the body.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. "Children of Israel, be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the nations." He's telling you, just as he did in Joel, you're going to be smack dab under the enemy, which is not just the church, but anyone who denies my laws, commandments, and judgments. You're going to serve their idols. You're going to do all these sinful things, worse than you ever did when I was with you.
Yeah.
For how long? How long shall this last, O Father, right?
Yeah.
And he says, until the time of the Comforter, which no man would know the day, time, or hour of the Son of Israel, meaning the Comforter again, right?
Yeah.
So we're seeing this echo of Israel here, the Son of Israel. Till the Son of Israel, no one knows the day except that Son who knows the Father, and the Father who knows the Son. So that means this person has to have some wisdom that no one can teach of the church or anyone else outside the church, because they don't understand this. So the Father has to come back in a fleshly body, bringing his wisdom to this person's mind, so that this person can go on to the people and teach whom is willing to listen. And then those who are willing to listen will be able to break from the bonds of the false teachers. And through that is sin ultimately destroyed.
Yeah. Now, Emmanuel didn't save everybody from sin. He basically, he gave you the playbook, the parameters of what you're going into, which
Yeah.
is this darkness that we're talking about. And then when he's saying, I come back, he's also then telling you how you will be able to know me, because I've established these guidelines and parameters and checkpoints, or whatever you want
I
to
act
say.
no different than the prophets.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
So then, when you do hear me, you know now that I am speaking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, you're juxtaposed to the false teachers who everything's established on lies and their own.
Are they acting like the prophets? No. Are they
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
like the prophets? No.
So then you're able to, if you are seeking to use these things that we're teaching to be able to find the narrow path, you're able to
Know the
cast
wisdom.
off the darkness that was placed on you by the Father, because
It's a test.
it's a test. So you weren't going to find it through any of these teachers in this days of darkness. It was meant to be like it is till the Son of Israel comes back again.
Correct. Because the Son of Israel, where was the word given unto? What kind of people? It was given unto the children of Israel, right?
Yeah.
So if it was given unto the children of Israel, then until a leader of a child of Israel, which means that the children of Israel had wisdom. That's what made them different from their brothers and sisters, because they were still children of Adam. But the Father establishes them to be called children of Israel, separate from the rest of their brothers and sisters of Adam. by a knowledge and by testimony, right?
Mhm.
So through the commandments and testimony, does one become a son of God under what name? Israel. Folks, you don't have much time. You really need to understand this stuff. A child of God is known as Israel. So therefore, you have to accept that. If you're not going to accept that you are a child of the Father by being called Israel, then you're never going to understand this history. You're never going to understand. You're going to keep following false teachers that reject that name and reject being called Israel. They that don't want to be called children of Israel, that want to take that wisdom for themselves and do what they please like the Pharisees did. They weren't children of Israel because they didn't have the knowledge. They didn't accept the king. So how were they
instead
children
of the
of
Father
Israel?
killing them, like, bam, you're dead, he's saying, I'm doing the altar. I am putting you in my darkness, which is his wrath,
Yes.
for this amount of time. And I
Yes.
am hiding my face from you for this amount of time.
Yes.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Because through all these things, will you come to understanding and acceptance? What is the Father? Who is the Father? What is the Father of? He's light and dark. Well, that's knowledge and lies. So if he is knowledge, and not just knowledge, I mean, even to create animals, don't you have to have knowledge of a DNA? Because you're creating cells. You're creating how something's going to look, how something's going to feel. You're creating all that data when you're making a tree, a grass. I mean, anyone that knows computers, that knows coding should know what I'm talking about right now. So if the Father is that, what is he? Knowledge. Because he's bringing into manifestation a data that is to look and appear and act in such a way by his will, which is his design, which is his mind. All right, folks.
Everybody. Take care. See you again soon.
All right, bye.